Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ellen Benzine. I'm an account manager with SwipeClock. I will be conducting the Ask Me Anything hour this afternoon. And as usual, we are still having a couple people sign in. We're going to give it another minute or two, and then we'll go ahead and start. Thank you. All right. It's a couple minutes after the top of the hour. I'm going to go ahead and start this afternoon's Ask Me Anything hour with ApplicantStack. Again, my name is Ellen Benzine. I'm an account manager with SwipeClock, and I have a couple other folks with me this afternoon. They include Carol Kennedy and Brandon Peterson, both of whom are ApplicantStack or SwipeClock account managers. Let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. The topic we are discussing this afternoon is who are ApplicantStack's partners and the integrations we offer with our partners, and those partners develop and market software that complements ApplicantStack. And by definition, a software integration allows two unlike software applications to talk with each other. So again, we're going to preview our integration partners. We're also going to discuss our Indeed partnership that allows ApplicantStack users to launch jobs to Indeed's organic free feed and to sponsor jobs from within ApplicantStack to Indeed. And then we have a new partner. Partner's name is Augusta Care. We're pretty excited about that partnership, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Augusta Care as well. So you might be asking yourself what the benefits are of integrating ApplicantStack with complementary software solutions. We're going to discuss those as well. And then when I was researching for this AMA, I did find an interesting article that you all might be interested in as well. It talks about how to successfully screen candidates so that you spend your time on those candidates who are most qualified. You hire individuals in a quick-to-hire time frame. So you all will be getting this slide deck once the webinar has been completed. You will have the ability to click on this link, obviously, read that article if you choose to, but also know that Allie from our marketing department does blog on ApplicantStack. This is one of her articles, and you can read all of her blogs when you click on a link in the announcement section of your ApplicantStack homepage. And then finally, we will open it up to questions and answers, and those questions can be on anything ApplicantStack, recruit, and onboarding. All right, I'm going to show you this in a minute, but let's just step through it. In order to determine and review who our ApplicantStack partners are, an ApplicantStack administrator can click on the Head and Shoulders icon in the upper right-hand corner of their ApplicantStack screen, and then from a drop-down, select Setup, and then navigate to the blue menu that will be on the left and click on Integrations. So our integrations page in ApplicantStack Recruit makes it very easy for ApplicantStack administrators to read and activate integrations with our partners. Integrations are free to use within ApplicantStack, but do require an account or a subscription with our individual partners. And you do have the ability to contact our partners directly for their services, such as assessments and background checks, and determine what their pricing is as well. And then we are a preferred partner with Verified First. If you want your ApplicantStack account manager to contact Verified First on your behalf, we'll be happy to do so. We can request that a Verified First representative get in touch with you. And if you'd like that to happen, please go ahead and submit a technical support ticket, make that request, and we'll be happy to do that for you. Additional integrations, like I mentioned, include our Indeed sponsorship integration. And the benefit of sponsoring your jobs from ApplicantStack on Indeed ensures greater job visibility. And as a recruiter, I would always sponsor jobs that were typically time critical, that I needed to hire for quickly, or jobs that were hard to fill. I'm going to show you that Indeed sponsorship integration as well. And then I mentioned Augusta Care was a new partner. Augusta Care software streamlines the recruiting process. It allows for advanced matching of your requirements with candidates based on 20 data points. And so those 20 data points include the geographic preference for an individual to work, any certifications that they might have, skills that the candidates might have. And again, Augusta Care's software allows that advanced matching to happen so that you as ApplicantStack users can, again, focus your time on those candidates who are qualified and ready to interview with you. Now, just as a caveat, Augusta Care is geared towards home health organizations, such as Home Instead, Visiting Angels, and other groups that provide home health care. So again, it's a niche market, but that software is very good at, again, matching candidates with home health care company requirements. There's the link to the Augusta Care website if you'd like to read a little bit more about Augusta Care. All right, benefits of integrating with our partners. So first and foremost is integrating with ApplicantStack partners streamline processes. So again, ApplicantStack partners include assessment organizations and background check organizations and video screening companies. And what you have the ability to do is, when integrated, you can trigger those activities from within ApplicantStack. So you're not going from one screen to another, one application to another. You're actually triggering integration or say the background check from within an ApplicantStack candidate record. So this obviously creates efficiency because, again, you're not going from one application to another and inputting data such as contact information time and time again. So when you're not inputting data repetitively, that means your data entry errors are decreased. So I can remember going from one application, my recruiting, my applicant tracking software, and rekeying information into the background check organization company that we used at that point in time for candidate background checks. So again, duplication of efforts and potential increase of data entry errors are never a good thing. And then finally, benefits of integrating with our partners, it promotes compliance and consistency. So again, to use a background check, as an example, you can trigger a background check from within ApplicantStack. And again, the partner company will check the background of that individual. Background checks can be deep. They can include motor vehicle checks. They can include education. They can include background career history. You designate the depth of the background check based on your requirements. But again, all background checks come back into ApplicantStack, and you have the ability to move forward with a candidate, or if for any reason you can choose not to move forward. But again, the point here is that it promotes compliancy and consistency, our integrations do, and you have an audit trail of all activity. Upcoming events, we always like to promote these. You can see that we have additional Ask Me Anything hours scheduled for June 6th and June 27th. And we have an ApplicantStack Recruit webinar on creating reports on June 18th. So please feel free to scan the QR code here, or you can register for any of these webinars and upcoming webinars past these as well from the link on your ApplicantStack homepage under the announcement section. We're going to go ahead and demonstrate some of these things that I just discussed. So let me bring up my demo account, which you should be seeing now. And my demo account is going to look different than your accounts, most likely, because ApplicantStack is configured to mirror your particular recruit workflow. So one of the things I had mentioned is having an ApplicantStack administrator navigate to our integration page, which I'm going to do right now. I am signed in as an ApplicantStack administrator. So if I navigate to my picture in the upper right-hand corner and click on it, from the drop-down, I can click on Setup. And you'll see the blue menu on the left has a variety of functions, but the function that we're interested in today is integrations. So these are all of our partner companies, and integrations have already been developed with all of these organizations. So let's just review these quickly. You'll see we do offer calendar integrations with Google Calendar as well as Office 365. The benefit of this integration is if you're scheduling an event, such as an interview or a phone screen, you can access the calendars of your ApplicantStack users who are interviewing and determine when a convenient time is to schedule that interview. So again, you have access to ApplicantStack users' calendars and can schedule accordingly. If you have any interest in integrating your Google Calendar or Office 365 with ApplicantStack, you have the ability to learn more and activate those integrations. As I move forward, you'll also notice that we integrate with two assessment partners, Corvertis and Criteria. Those assessments can include behavioral, aptitude, cognizant assessments or skills. Again, you can put together the packages you want in order to assess the candidates based on the job for which you're hiring. Moving down, you'll see who our background screening partners are. Again, I had mentioned Verified First, but we do have 4 other background screening partners. Verified First is our preferred partner. Again, you can trigger background checks from within a candidate record in ApplicantStack Recruit. And the results of the background check, the drug screening, etc., can come right back into ApplicantStack. You can review those results and then act accordingly. I had mentioned video interviewing. Our video interviewing partner is Spark Hire. And I am just going to make sure. All right. I just wanted to check on something. Our video interviewing partner is Spark Hire. And Spark Hire is a very robust software platform that allows for video interviewing. And this really was prevalent during COVID, but still has the but you still have the ability, obviously, to video interview candidates. And part of Spark Hire's offering is one-way video, two-way videos, and you can read more and activate that Spark Hire integration through this integration page as well. You can also provide your candidates questionnaires to answer as part of an interview process and set a specific time when that questionnaire or those interview questions need to be completed. Moving down, we do offer an integration with ADP Workforce Now. I will say we are on pause right now with ADP. They've released a new software release, and we're evaluating that software release and how it has affected our integration with ADP Workforce Now. We do have an integration with Namely software as well that you can read about and activate if you'd like. And finally, home care management. I had talked about Augusta Care as a front-end software platform to advance match candidates for your requirements. Access Care provides home care management software for scheduling and billing of home care professionals. So again, what you're seeing here is our integrations page and can be accessed by your ApplicantStack account managers. You can learn more about each one of these integrations by clicking on the Learn More button. That will take you to our Help Center, and that will assist you with activating those integrations if you'd like. The other integration that I wanted to briefly discuss this afternoon is our integration with Indeed. So I'm going to click back on the Home tab and move over to the Jobs tab up top. And this is my Jobs table. And again, this is my demo account. It's going to look different than your account. But if I click on the Accounting Manager opportunity, I land on the Summary page or the Summary tab for that opportunity. And if I move over to the Launch tab, these are the various third-party job boards and social media sites where you can launch your jobs from ApplicantStack. And what I wanted to note here is that we do have the ability to launch your jobs from ApplicantStack to Indeed's organic free feed. Do understand that Indeed does have some strict guidelines on job posting. So you need to make your title succinct. You need to abide by their guidelines, not to include, dollar signs and exclamation points in job titles, etc. But do know that we can launch your jobs to Indeed's organic free feed. And once done, if you want to sponsor your jobs on Indeed to promote higher visibility, you have the ability to do that through ApplicantStack as well. The job does need to be posted to the organic free feed, and once it posts successfully, this link that says Sponsor Job will then become a live link. So you have the ability to click on that link. It will take you to your Indeed account or ask you to sign into your Indeed account, and you then have the ability to sponsor your jobs directly from ApplicantStack. And the beauty of that means that those sponsored jobs show on Indeed, obviously. They have a higher visibility than Indeed's organic free feed jobs. But any candidates that apply for your jobs, whether sponsored on Indeed or in their organic free feed, those individuals will come right into ApplicantStack and begin your application process, and then a candidate record is created. Going back to the jobs table for just 1 minute, you'll notice that there is a title or a column entitled Sponsored. If you do sponsor your job on Indeed, the Indeed icon, the little I, will show up in that sponsored column, so you have a visual as to what jobs are sponsored and what jobs aren't. So that is the overview of our partners with whom we integrate. And again, those partners offer software complementary to ApplicantStack. And again, what's nice about an integration or the ability to talk with unlike software applications is, again, those efficiencies. You can trigger a background check from a candidate record. You can trigger an assessment from a candidate record. You can look at ApplicantStack users' calendars in order to schedule interviews with candidates. So it's obvious that those integrations do create efficiencies. And again, we're always about compliance and consistency, and those integrations help with that as well. So with that, if you've got any sort of questions regarding integrations or ApplicantStack Recruit or onboarding, please feel free put your questions in the question box. And Brandon's going to help me this afternoon reading the questions. And while Brandon is doing so, I just want to highlight the announcement section of your ApplicantStack homepage. Here is where you'll be able to register for that recruit webinar, and we're concentrating on creating reports during that session. We have the ApplicantStack Ask Me Anything hours scheduled for the 2 sessions in June. And remember, I was discussing Allie from our marketing department, her blog. Here is where you can access Allie's blog and not only read the article about screening candidates that I referred to earlier, but other information, other blogs that she creates as well. There is a lot of good information there. So with that, Brandon, do we have any questions?
Yeah, the first question is about the Indeed integration. And the question is, if the users post their job to Indeed directly, and then the candidates naturally apply there within Indeed, what's the best way to get that application information back into ApplicantStack?
Okay. So my knee-jerk reaction is, please launch your jobs to Indeed's organic free feed from ApplicantStack. Because the beauty of that integration is candidates who apply for your jobs will automatically come back into ApplicantStack, where you can manage your recruiting process with those candidates. So I think my question back, Brandon, would be, why do you want to post your jobs directly on Indeed versus launching your jobs to Indeed from ApplicantStack? But to answer the question, what you would need to do is manually create a candidate record with that information that the candidate provided if you post your jobs directly on Indeed. So again, just a bit more efficiency would be to launch your jobs directly from ApplicantStack.
Okay, great. And then as far as, we have a question about the API access. I'm guessing that's related to maybe the setup of integrations. If an integration partner is asking for the API code or token, how do our customers go about getting that?
Yeah. So if an integration has already been developed and you need the API token, please submit a technical support ticket for that. We'll generate the API token for you, and you then have the ability to give that token to the integration partner. We do have an API that you can read about in our Help Center if you input API in the search bubble. We do ask that if you develop an integration with ApplicantStack, that you make us aware of it so we can track the development effort and know what sort of software you're integrating with ApplicantStack.
Okay, great. Let's see. Not seeing any other questions right now. So we've got a quiet group today.
Yeah. Well, it is a holiday week.
That's true.
Maybe we're all still a bit in low gear. If any other questions come in, that's great. But while we're wondering if additional questions come in, as always, we do like to promote our technical support team, and you do have access as an ApplicantStack user to our technical support team. And you can contact them by clicking on the white question mark in the upper right-hand corner. You'll notice there's a drop-down, and to access our technical support team, you would click on Ask a Question. You can complete the web form, provide a description, obviously, upload any files that might be associated with your question, and then once you submit this, it'll be routed to the appropriate person, and a response will be provided directly to you. And then also in this drop-down, you'll notice we do have, or you do have, ApplicantStack users have access to the Help Center, and you can input any sort of function here of interest. So if I input texting, articles and videos will be generated that will talk about our texting.
Okay, we do have a few questions here now, Ellen. Thank you for that.
Okay.
So the question is, I don't see pre-intent listed under integrations. Is the Augusta integration replacing pre-intent? I can
and
answer.
I'm going to let you answer that. Yeah, please. Thank you, Brandon.
Okay. So yeah, pre-intent and Augusta are both they're unique integrations. So one does not replace the other. They're competitors, I would say, in this space. They have essentially the same purpose, which is to increase the quality of candidates coming in the door, and their end goal is to get them scheduled for interview, and that's where it ends. So no, one does not replace the other, but pre-intent is a very popular integration as well. I think we mentioned Augusta just because they're kind of a new up and coming one, and they've gotten a lot of traction lately. The next question is, I do not have all those options in AppStack. That question is actually from earlier. I'm not sure. Danielle, if you could please clarify which options you're looking at or wanting to see, then we can help answer that for you.
I wonder, Brandon, if it's accessing the integrations page. And it does need to be an ApplicantStack administrator, so an individual who has an administrator role within ApplicantStack has the ability to see the integrations page by clicking on either your picture or the Head and Shoulders icon in the upper right-hand corner. And then only an ApplicantStack administrator has this option from the drop-down setup, which then can bring you to that integrations page.
Okay. The next question is from Colin. They're asking for, it looks like he's asking for a phone call to help him integrate ApplicantStack with a proprietary website. So Colin, if you could please put in a support ticket, that would be the proper way of getting that call set up, and then we can definitely help you there.
Excellent.
The next question is from George, and he asks, are there specific assessment companies that AppStack can integrate with, or can it be any assessment company?
Okay. And so again, I am going to click on my picture in the upper right-hand corner, set up from the drop-down, and then I'm over clicking on integrations from the blue menu on the left, and it is Corvertis and Criteria with whom we've got integrations already developed. So I would suggest evaluating those two companies and what they have to offer and what their pricing is, because again, the beauty of this is that those integrations and they can be triggered from a candidate record, and then results can be in a candidate record as well.
Okay, great. The next question is from Marie, and she asks, is there capability for ApplicantStack to autofill an application from a resume? I think she's referring to like optical character recognition, where the image of the resume can be scanned and then turned into an application.
Okay. Or filtering or parsing possibly?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I'll take the parsing side of that. ApplicantStack does have limited parsing capabilities. And if the question is, again, how can our employment application be auto-filled based on information from a resume, you can do that within ApplicantStack to a limited basis. So what I'm going to do is navigate again to my picture in the upper right-hand corner. This is an administrator function only. So when I click on Setup, I'm going to navigate to the blue menu on the left, and we're talking about job boards at this point. And we're going to look at the settings for the public job board. So I'm going to move over to Edit Settings under the Actions column. And this shows you what your job board settings are. So what your job board looks like when a candidate applies. And one of the things that you can turn on is the ability to parse a resume. And what that does is it pulls contact information from the resume and auto-populates not necessarily the employment application, but the contact information during your application process. So that helps a little bit when a candidate applies, that they're not necessarily inputting their contact information in. But that's as far as our parsing capabilities go. And the rationale behind that is every resume is different, and parsing isn't necessarily scientific. But again, if you turn parse resume, if you toggle this setting to yes, at least contact information will be auto-filled during your application process.
Okay.
And then, Brandon, do you think there's something more to that question?
No, I think that's what I think you've hit on it. Thank you.
Okay, great.
The next question is, I have Access Care. This is from Agnes. I have Access Care, and I wanted to know how is it helpful to integrate if I am not using you for payroll. I did enter into this question a link to our article on the Access Care integration. So I think that article has a lot more detail than we can share on this call. But I believe, simply put, it will automatically move the candidate information into Access Care if you have that integration set up. Ellen, do you know more about that integration?
Nothing really more than what you just said, but there's a trigger stage, and it would be one of the stages within your recruit workflow that would move candidate information from ApplicantStack, keep it in ApplicantStack, but also push it to Access Care. And if you've got specific questions on that integration, Brandon, I think you said you sent the link to the article in our help center, but also feel free to submit a ticket, and our technical support team can help you with that integration as well.
Okay, great. And the next question is from Paula. I don't see the webinars in my announcements section. Should I be doing something to enable them? To enable those announcements?
No announcements in your announcement section? Okay, my first question would be is, do you see the announcement section? Because as you can see, there's a red X right here that says dismiss announcement. And what that means is that tile goes away until a net new announcement is input there. I would never suggest dismissing the announcement section, because again, there is great information here. It's where you register for webinars, it's access to our blog and our social media sites, etc. So if you don't have that announcement section, I know we kind of say this a lot, please submit a technical support ticket and ask that that announcement section magically reappear, please. And then you'll have the ability to register for those webinars.
Okay, thank you, Ellen. The next question is, can pre-intent and Augusta be used with AppStack together? I'll be honest, Eliza, I don't know. I believe they could be, but I guess I would question what value you think you would get out of having those together, and we would likely need to get on a call with both of their teams in order to discuss that integration and make sure that there isn't some kind of crossover. So short answer is we're not sure, but if that's something you want to explore, we could definitely set up a call for that.
And Brandon, what's the best way to contact you for that call if necessary?
Yeah, just like you've said, is put in a technical support ticket, and then we can schedule a call from there.
Okay.
The next question is from Vanessa, and we're working with an organization that provides us our assessments. Can we integrate their organization into the platform? I think you addressed that already. So we do have public APIs that are published, and so any partner can use those APIs, but we do want to grant permission for that, and so there may be a process to that if they haven't integrated with us in the past, just so that we can make sure everything's working correctly and that the calls to our servers aren't overwhelming. So the way to initiate that, Vanessa, would be, again, to submit a technical support ticket. And happy to look into that for you.
Great.
Looks like the next question is very similar from George. Are we able to integrate our candidate assessment through AppStack? I would give the same answer. It's very possible. Again, the APIs are public, but we would want to discuss what that is that they're doing and what information would be being shared so that we can make sure that that's a smooth integration. All right, Sue asks, whoops, I just lost my spot here. Let me pull that up again. Sue asks, where can I see upcoming webinars? I think that also was announced. It's in the announcement section. I'll get the screen, so go ahead and show her again.
Yeah. So upcoming webinars, you can see the Recruit webinar is scheduled for June 11th. And Ask Me Anything webinars are scheduled for June 6th and June 27th. Now, if you don't have the announcement panel, once again, please submit a ticket and say, please make my announcement panel visible again. But we also have on our website all webinars, and I am
Ellen, I'm pulling that up right now. I'll put that in the chat for you.
Oh, okay, excellent. All right.
To our events page.
It's what, Carol?
To the events page. I'll put that in the chat.
Okay, excellent. So as you just heard, there is a link to all ApplicantStack activity, meaning webinars. Carol's going to put that link in the chat, and you can always bookmark that link so that you'll know when webinars are coming and register accordingly. Thanks, Carol. I was stumbling a little bit there. I knew I had it somewhere, but glad you were on it.
Got you covered.
Thank you.
The next question is from Eliza. Is it possible to see an example of how to refresh a job listing that's already been launched? So how to renew and refresh a job. Ellen, if you could show that. I did put in the answer section here for everybody to see. There is I put a link to Indeed's policies on reposting and refreshing, which might be helpful for people. Right. The question doesn't specify Indeed, but I'm guessing that might be who they're talking about. So there is a reference there. One thing I would add before you show them, but is that Indeed isn't great at enforcing their policies consistently. So we have heard some horror stories of people getting away with certain behaviors, and then suddenly they get penalized for breaking the rules, and they're wondering why they were able to get away with it for so long. So that is something that happens with Indeed, but the article speaks for itself if you can see that in the question section.
Yep, and I'm showing it as well. So all I did in the search bar when I accessed our help center was put in refresh. So this is the article that Brandon might share, or it's a complimentary article. But one thing to point out, and this is just to reinforce what Brandon said, is specifically for Indeed, we don't recommend, or they don't recommend, refreshing your job more than once every 2 to 3 months. And I would do it every 3 months just to be cautious. Because if you do refresh more frequently than that, they can block your jobs. And then I think it's a bit of a challenge to get your jobs unblocked. But anyway, there's the Help Center article. And just to show you what is in that Help Center article, you would click on your Jobs tab, click on the job title of the job in question. And what you need to do is modify the job ID. And you're tricking third-party job boards, specifically Indeed, into thinking that it is a new job and will bring that job up to the top of their organic free feed. So if I move over to Edit Job, you can see the job ID here, sample 1001. You would change that job ID and save your change. And then once you do that, you do need to relaunch your job by moving to the Launch tab. Click on Edit Launch Status. And again, since this is a demo account, you don't see an Indeed option. But in your account, You'd see Indeed, you'd see Google for Jobs and LinkedIn limited postings. Those are the free sites where we can launch your jobs. You would make sure all those boxes are checked, move through the relaunch process, and launch that job again. And again, with a new job ID, Indeed will think it's a new job, bring it up to the top of their organic free feed queue.
Okay, great. Thank you for going over that, Ellen. The next question from Elizabeth. When we create tasks to send our hiring managers resumes, they click on the link, but when they click on the candidate tab, they don't see any candidates. Do we have a setting wrong? Ellen, I believe that has to do with job ownership. So if you could go over how the filters work on the candidates tab, and how to assign somebody the job owner so that they can see those candidates by default.
Okay. So again, I'm going to navigate from the Home tab to the Jobs tab and click on the Accounting Manager opportunity, and you will see here whoa, I got a little crazy there, who the job owners are and who the hiring managers are. So a job owner is typically an ApplicantStack administrator or recruiter, and recruiter. You can see I have two there. And hiring managers are those individuals that actually need the new hire. So a hiring manager has to be designated as one within the job in order for those individuals to see candidates and provide feedback. So if there's more to that question, is there more to that question, Brandon?
No, I just think there, did you go over the filters there so you can change the filters? So from the candidates tab, it always defaults to my active jobs and active candidates. And so if you're not seeing candidates in that tab, it means they're not one of your active candidates. You can toggle that by clicking on the bar as Ellen is showing and just select all jobs. And then you'll see all the jobs, even if you're, all the candidates associated with those jobs, even if you're not a job owner. But if you want to be a job owner and you need to be able to see all of those by default, then you would need to change yourself to a job owner or have an administrator do that for you.
Mm-hmm. And if we didn't quite get to the gist of your question, here we go again. Please submit a technical support ticket and we can look at how your account is configured as well. But the beauty of ApplicantStack is sharing candidate information electronically. So we want to make sure that your workflow is configured properly. So if you could submit a ticket just to check or for us to check, that would be great.
The next question is from Sue. This looks like a specific report question. So Sue, I'll take that question offline. She's asking if a particular report can only show active jobs. The answer is yes, Sue. We can help you do that. But I believe the report you're referencing is a customized report for Home Instead, and so it would require creating a new report in order to filter by active jobs. So I can walk you through how to create a custom report so that you can do that. All right, the next question is from Paula. Again, I'm getting a lot of questions about not seeing the announcements section. Like so something down there. All
right, that's funny. I mean, that's a common theme for this afternoon. But I'm so glad we're talking about it. Again. Yeah, you can dismiss the announcement section, but I wouldn't suggest it for the reasons that we're discussing here today. Again, Carol dropped the link of all of our webinars in the chat. So bookmark that link so that you'll always have it and can register, but also submit a ticket saying, please magically have my announcement section reappear.
So just to be clear, Ellen, it is something the user can dismiss so that that section doesn't appear on their home screen, but it's not something that they can restore on their own?
Correct. Okay. So there are two means of restoring the announcement section, one of which is with a new announcement, it should be restored. So any new information should make that announcement tile come back. And the other means of getting the announcement section back is to submit a ticket.
Okay, thank you.
If we could do it, I would in a minute. And it's probably something easy to do, and we should probably learn that as account managers. But for the time being, please submit a ticket.
Okay. The next question is from Maria. And Maria, we might ask for some additional clarification here, but I'll read your question. Last time I checked into it, we could only have it set for applicants to have to set up an account or to not set up an account. I believe she's talking about when an applicant is applying, whether they need to create a login. Will there be an option in the future for applicants to choose if they want to set up an account in order to save the progress or not?
Yeah. So Maria, you're absolutely right. It's an all or nothing. It's an either or type of situation. An applicant does not have the choice. It's a setting in your job boards. So you as the ApplicantStack administrator can make that decision as to whether or not you want your candidates to set up an account or not. And as you said, the beauty of setting up an account is that applicants can, if they apply for multiple positions, they don't have to input a lot of repetitive information. They can update their resume, etc. As far as I know, on the ApplicantStack development roadmap for 2024, there's not a feature to have the candidate be able to choose that option.
Okay.
I wish I had a different answer for you.
All right. I got a question about from Penny. How do I schedule speaking to someone about going over some settings? If you are with Home Instead, I'm the account manager for all Home Instead accounts, and I put in, again, the answer section, a link to my booking link. If you're not with Home Instead, then again, submit a support ticket. Your ticket will be routed to the proper account manager, and then they can be in touch with you to set up a call. That looks like we do have a couple more questions. I was going to say, I thought that was the end. If only making a correction to a text in a job listing, is it correct to launch without updating the job ID? So if they may want to make an edit to the listing of the job, are they able to save that and have that change be pushed out without having to relaunch?
Yes. So you can absolutely edit the listing. And again, I'm on the summary tab, moved over to the listing tab, where you have the ability to edit that listing. And if that's the case and you do make a modification, just save the change, and you do not have to relaunch. Now, I will say that our feed goes out to Indeed and other third-party job boards every 2 to 4 hours. So when you make that change, if you access Indeed, for example, give it a little bit of time to make sure that change has actually happened.
Okay. Well, that looks like that's the end of the questions, Ellen. We ended up having quite a few.
Yeah, I know. So I looked down at our timing when there were very few questions coming in, and I thought, okay, well, this Ask Me Anything hour is going to end a little earlier, but here we are getting close to top of the hour. And so the whole point of these Ask Me Anything hours is this discussion, is the ability for ApplicantStack users to submit questions and then have Carol, Brandon, and myself answer those questions. And as you can see, we complement each other. Brandon does cover Home Instead, Carol threw the link in the chat for me. So we do try to make these sessions very beneficial and conversational and fluent. And the goal is obviously to help you with any ApplicantStack questions you might have, and then show you features and functions that you might not even be aware of. So please continue to register for these sessions. We've talked about our technical support team. We've talked about the Help Center as additional resources. And as account managers, we're always ready to help our customers as well. So I thank you for your time this afternoon. I hope your week has been a good one thus far. It's been a short week probably for most of us, so tomorrow is already Friday. But enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we hope to see you at future Ask Me Anything hours, and certainly our recruit and onboard product webinars. So thanks very much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.